everybody. It's Chris Byberg, the director of the National House of Prayer, coming to you today from Ottawa. I want to talk to you about some things that have been going on here in the city in regards to the church reaching out to the Jewish community. We've been very strategic as a city church through the help of One Way Ministries and others. You know, you've heard me talk about One Way on several occasions. I love this ministry. I love how I call them the mortar between the living stones here in this city. So they are a fantastic ministry that it makes it wonderful to build the kingdom here, because it's not just about church, but it's about the kingdom. And so many different aspects of the church, so many different denominations, so many expressions are working together very, very well here. And one of the things they took on is caring for the Jewish community. So back in February, we hosted a luncheon. We had a bit of a round table, and we had pastors, and we invited the Jewish community to come and talk. And that's what they did. They're the ones who did the talking, and we listened. Subsequently, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a meeting with them where they hosted us. And so pastors, 60, 70 pastors were able to come. We went to a synagogue here in Ottawa, and we had lunch together, and we had a tour, and the rabbi and the cantor showed us around this one particular synagogue. It was really an important time, and important because of Isaiah 40, comfort ye my people. And this is really important. We do this. You know, we're in the prayer movement, and the prayer movement does a lot of fun things, and we're praying all the time. We do a lot of prophetic things. We do a lot of prophetic acts. We've done that over the years. I remember just years ago, 25 years ago, the church in Canada was involved in repenting for what happened to how Canada carried the Jewish community and Jews in general back in the Second World War. We had to repent for that, and it was great. But it's also important that we continue on in that. Yes, it's important to repent for what we did in the past, but it's also important that we build bridges. I spoke about bridges last week, right? It's important we build bridges, and we build bridges to the Jewish community. And it's important that, yes, prophetic acts are important, but more importantly, acts are important. So it's a time for us to transition from the place of prophetic acts to actually doing the work. I love the fact that the book of Acts is not called the book of prophetic acts. It's called the book of Acts, the Acts of the Apostles. So what about the acts in your life? What about the acts in your local church? What about the acts in your city? And so I want to encourage you to build bridges, build relationships with the Jewish community. You've heard me talk about writing letters, but I want to talk to you specifically to you intercessors, so you can start talking to your pastors and your leaders. Share this with your pastor and leader. They too can build with the synagogue. I'm going to share a link for a letter that the city of Ottawa, the church in Ottawa, wrote to the Jewish community. I don't want to just give it to you so that you can copy and paste and send it to them. It is important that we build relationships. Like for us, it is basically like a love letter to the Jewish community, like a friendship letter to the Jewish community. So we can do this for us because we're building the relationships. I want to encourage you to build relationships in your city, in your region, with the Jewish community. And if the Lord leads you to write a letter, write a letter. But it's important that we reach out, especially at this time. Antisemitism is at an all-time high. We are seeing things that are just unprecedented. It is very, very similar to what happened prior to the Second World War. We're seeing the same thing, but we're also seeing this at a global stage. On a global stage, every Jewish community seems to be under attack. I just saw something just recently on Bathurst and Wilson. A friend of mine sent me a video. Bathurst and Wilson is a Jewish community in Toronto. I actually grew up there. And here that pro-Hamas throng wanted to march through the streets there, right in their community. Thank goodness for the Toronto police this time that they stood up and said they're not going to allow that. That is good. Keep praying. But it's also your involvement, letters to the police, tell them you're concerned, letters to your government, tell them you're concerned. Anti-Semitism is not a part of Canadian culture. It was at one time, and we repented for it, but it is not now. And it's important that it stays that way. Anyway, reach out to the Jewish community. Write notes, build relationships, pastors, build with rabbis, build with cantors, build with synagogue presidents if you have to. Build relationships. And because this is the right season. Anyway, I'm Chris Bybrick, the director of the National House of Prayer, and we will see you.